My fate turned out in such a way that I was in a wheelchair with my legs in a cast. I had fractured both heels. In general, I perceived my injury as a great blessing. Since then, I have devoted even more of my life to Kriya. Honestly, I am happy with the events that happen in my life. My perception of the body has changed. I began to perceive it as the universe. For me, Kriya Yoga is research work. I immerse myself with great interest and pleasure in studying myself. Hello, dear friends. I am very glad to see all of you and tell a little bit about my story of coming to know Kriya Yoga. It turned out that I am a novice in it. My wife became interested in Kriya several years ago, and I found out about it last year. It turned out that I got more interested in this science. I acquired the basic course, and in March, I started studying at home in my free time. But it didn't happen so often. My name is Oleg. I live in the Vladimir region. I'm a village teacher. In my profession, there is a lot of hassle and not so much free time. My fate turned out in such a way that in September, I got a leg injury. Moreover, it is surprisingly unusual. I jumped from a tree from a small height. I did not expect that it would be possible to get injured from a height of 2.5 meters at all. But the injury was serious, a fracture of both heels. They split into small pieces. I consulted with the doctors who said, for this, there is only a cast and time. Half a year with a cast, 3 months of rehabilitation. No work, you need to stay at home. But I did not give up in this situation. Arriving home, I realized that I had a lot of free time, which I devoted to spiritual literature, to the classical pedagogues, and Kriya, what I really wanted to dedicate more time to, but I couldn't do before. Here I got seriously involved. I did the body energization, Kriya, and believed in the good. In general, I even perceived my injury as a great blessing. I was sure that everything would be fine. I have a family, a wife and a younger son, Roma, who also believed in me very much and helped me. I tried to get up on my feet as quickly as possible. And I understood that I would not have to wait the 3 months, which the doctors had spoken about. At the end of the first month, I realized that I could stand. I spoke with the doctor. He says, "Do not rush, you shouldn't do that." I gradually started walking. Decided to listen to the doctor, and for 3 months was more calm in my actions, although I had been walking quite a bit before. In the future, when this 3-month period expired, I started to move actively, go out for morning runs, which I really love. They came back into my life again. I noticed how it inspired my loved ones, my wife, my son. They noticed, first of all, my good mood. They noticed a good result in a short time, much faster than it usually happens in similar situations. I am very grateful to those people who bring the science of Kriya Yoga into the world. I am very grateful to Master Imram for his generous gift to people, for his hard work. Since then, I have devoted my life even more to Kriya. I got ready to go to the mini retreat where we are currently with you and set off. I didn't know yet in January if I would be able to participate, if they would take me. I didn't know how well I would be able to participate in this mini retreat. But my condition improved very quickly. And here, I have already arrived at the end of February, beginning of March, easily, calmly. I made many friends here. Honestly, I'm happy with the events that are happening in my life, and with those events, which began to occur at the time when I turned my attention to Kriya Yoga. In October, I was at the seminar. Yes, I really wanted to attend this event, but at that time, I was in a wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair, my legs were in casts. It was exactly 1.5 months from the time when I got injured. My wife helped me to come to Moscow to attend the seminar and participate in it. The wheelchair was placed to the side. I moved to the nearest mat and tried to practice as well as I could. I practiced sitting down. I couldn't stand up then. I did the seated energization exercises, everything I could do. Many people approached, smiled, wished me well, and all the best. And this all the best came true. Okay, I will probably share my experience again, how I came to know Kriya. I first watched a video with the conversations of Imram, and they immediately resonated with me. Not even Kriya Yoga itself, but conversations with Imram. After these conversations, of which I watched quite a few, I found many answers to important life questions for myself. Of course, I immediately became interested in the practice of Kriya Yoga itself and started practicing. To people unfamiliar with Kriya Yoga, but who may have heard something about it, I would suggest paying attention specifically to Imram's conversations, to listen to him. Because in these conversations, aspects of our entire life are revealed, from family relationships, health, relatives, to various kinds of successes. What is Kriya Yoga for me? It is probably the study of oneself. Not only the body, but also one's soul. My perception of the body has changed. I started to imagine it as the universe. For me, Kriya Yoga is research work. I immerse myself with great interest and pleasure in studying myself. I find a lot of interesting things in myself that help me in life. I reveal some good sides in myself. It makes me very happy. It makes my loved ones happy. Perhaps I would also advise to pay attention to oneself, listen to one's heart, and listen to what we have in our soul. We will find answers within ourselves. All the answers to the questions that exist in our life can be obtained through oneself, through studying and getting to know oneself, through revealing the best in ourselves. There's a lot of good in every person. Every person is beautiful. You just need to pay attention to this. Kriya Yoga will help you a lot with this. I work in humanistic pedagogy. Humanistic pedagogy is the education that sets parents, educators, teachers on a friendly contact with the child, on a spiritual connection. And Kriya science is also about this. This is the science of relationships with the higher principle, of revealing everything that is within us. Of course, it helped me to strengthen in patience, in peace, in joy, and in the ability to share all the good. which I gained while practicing Kriya Yoga, with close people, with children, with relatives, with my son, with my wife, and with neighbors, simply with any person whom fate sends to meet. And these relationships form well, because I try to see the good in people, try to talk, communicate with that goodness which is in them. Kriya Yoga is aimed at revealing this good. So it turns out that, of course, my attitude towards people changes for the better. I have a great desire to become healthy myself and to give health to the environment around me. I am thinking, for now carefully touching upon thoughts, about how with children it would be possible to strengthen our health, both physical and spiritual. I have already started thinking about how to conduct general health-improving activities, strengthening and tempering the body and spirit. I think, is it possible to include Kriya in these activities? I am glad that children are starting to pay attention to my Kriya Yoga practices. When my son Roman, he is 10 years old, sees that I am practicing Kriya Yoga, he tries not to disturb. A few days before the departure to the retreat, he asked me, "What is Kriya?" I tried to answer him briefly, clearly for his understanding. Explained that this is the study of oneself, the work of the energies of one's body. When you manage to understand, study, then you can already control these energies. You can transform your own body. Several days passed, after which my son approached me and said, "I want to practice Kriya with you in the summer." I see a smile on his face, and my heart also smiles. So in the future, I'm thinking about health-promoting activities with children,